Welcome in, everybody. This is the Aureil Stormgate circuit. This is going to be a quarterfinal match, I think. And this is going to be featuring in our blue playing Infernal. This is Wallace, aka Alpha Storm. And his opponent, wearing the red trunks, playing Infernal. This is the Mushroom Man himself, msrm. And he's gone. This is a cool little. This is definitely a practice. He put an effigy to build his buildings a little faster. This is a second permanent effigy, so he had to replace the effigy to make sure that it was still producing shroud for these buildings. And that effigy is also going to produce shroud for the shrine. All around cool little tactic. Oh, look at this little lumber imp showing up too. Of course, their volume isn't in the mixer. And some of my good friends are like, all you have to do to fix the volume is turn it up to maximum volume and then do this and do that. And I'm like, actually, no. Actually, no, I won't do that. Imps are just going to be loud. Sorry. Sorry. At least I turned my sound off of mute. It was apparently muted in one of my recent casts. And that must have been weird. But we've got the music going, we've got the sound, we can hear the blade of the brute crashing down on those shadow mastiffs as msrm cleans up his speed camp. And notice this tactic, he's bust down his wall here, so he's got a faster rush distance up this side. Meanwhile, Wallace is going for his speed camp too, having already got his health camp. msrm has not got his health camp, and that could make a difference if these two end up skirmishing a little. But what's msrm going to do after he's done with these shadow demons? Is he going to push forward, or is he going to pull back? He pulls back. And it's Wallace who's actually being aggressive here. Going straight for the health camp, saying, hey, you haven't taken this health camp yet, fine, I'm going to get it. And also, by the way, that means I'm going to have 2 health camps, you're going to have 0, let's fight, you know? I'm going to be healing up so much quicker. msrm somehow just, you know, 2 ships passing in the night. Oh no! Wallace is in your base, msrm, what you going to do? He's got phantoms, your vault's already gonered. Ooh. Oh, another phantom going down. I love that little sound. But wait a sec, Wallace. You just chased units all the way through the map. You didn't kill anything else. Imp's going down, though, so that's good. That's good. Yeah, okay. Now Wallace is killing stuff, and he's also like, by the way, I have way much more stuff. msrm, hope he can get something. These imps gotta turn and fight. Yeah. Oh, now we listen. I guess I should have done all those tricks so we didn't have to hear all the imp fireballs. But the imps pull out again. And, oh, here they come. Oh, they're gonna kill our eardrums. But they might kill the brutes too. And, oh, wow, Wallace pulling back. And I still think he's got the advantage here, but msrm's doing a pretty good job to hold this so far. And msrm is definitely the player that will... He's not going to GG just because you've got a higher supply army in his base. He's like, I got imps in my base. Oh no, the imps are going to die! Yay! Oh, it's just a parade of imps to their death. One brute there. He's like, I'll save you. No, I won't. I'm dead. Imps going down. Phantoms spawning. More reinforcements showing up. There is nothing that msrm can do here except watch his imps go down and type the G's. There we go. Well, welcome in. It's Lost Hope, and this is game number 2. And once again, in the blue, this is going to be Wallace, also known as Alpha Storm, and his opponent cross-spawning in the old red. This is msrm. And once again, he's doing that cool little FG trick out on the front so that his buildings, his production buildings, are down where his expo is. Again, dropping down the second permanent effigy, which is going to help with his shrine. So he's got this figured out. And it looks like Wallace doing something similar, actually. And look how his effigy very well positioned, so it's going to help creeping as well. I think msrm's is like that too. So really cool, really cool. And both of them I think are well practiced in the kinds of builds they do. So I'm not surprised that both of them know, like, oh, this is what I do on Lost Hope. And first round of units coming out for Wallace. Likewise for msrm. It seems like his are arriving a little earlier. That might just be that rush distance difference. His buildings were just a little bit closer to the camp. Now that's going to give you a few extra seconds. Now is a few seconds going to gain you anything? I'm not certain. But we can see he's already moving back out. Same thing here. What are those phantoms doing? You got to bring them with. Yeah, they're not useful to just hang out there. And okay. Oh, the phantoms are dying before they become useful. That, I mean, a few of them are dang tanking here. That's good. Oh, and okay, well done. Another phantom showed up, keeping it alive. So Wallace again, microing phantoms. That's cool. I would never micro phantoms. I probably can't click on them, and I'm like, they're gonna die in a second anyway. So who cares? So we saw this with Wallace versus Yoru, this little skirmishing around the shadow demons. And this, you know, Wallace was able to get a small advantage from this in his game by just getting an extra gaunt kill or whatnot in those skirmishing. In this case, he does get the shadow demon, but msrm coming in with his speedy legs, trying to get something. He's gonna go toe to toe. He pops his effigy, and Wallace retreats. Another gaunt going down. It looks like. I think that was pretty good for msrm actually, although their supplies are dead even. msrm regains the center, and that center of the map is going to be important in this matchup because they are cross spawned, so any attacks are going to go past that vision tower most likely. And unless you've got a drop that's going around the outside or something like that. Control of that vision tower means you're going to see your opponent coming at you. And something else about these cross spawns is it's a little easier to split the map a bit, and that's kind of what we're seeing. Both these players are trying to take out their camps, get that income, both from the creeps and from the passive income from these Ethereum and Luminite camps. You see the Ethereum camp down here for Wallace also being taken out. msrm has skipped his energy camp, possibly just not thinking the value of those creeps are as good. Although remember, they do create Ethereum, which can be valuable. He's grabbing his speedy legs. He sees a couple of fiends out, and oh, this could be, yeah, this could be bad news for Wallace here. msrm catching him in a little bit of a choke here. Nightfall infestation going down on all of msrm's units. That was very clutch for Wallace, but are his units going to be able to hold here? A few of them are just running away around the outside. And I think that was actually kind of wise if he can keep them alive. It was his gaunt set, he ran around the outside. But supply-wise, that was not good for him. He did take a loss there. And this army is still between his gaunts and the... Oh. He's like, I just want to get him home. And manages to sneak him by. So, he could have lost all those units down there at the health camp, kept those gaunts alive, and that means he's kind of still a little bit in it. He's got a 10 supply deficit, but That's not that much, especially at this stage of the game. He could easily overcome that with, you know, a few rounds of production if he needed to in an attack. And speaking of an attack, and speaking of the back doors we talked about last time, msrm's here and he's ready to do damage. These vaults, they're not going to be finished. Are they going to get cancelled? That one does, that one does, but the first one was killed. Imps have already retreated away, and the shrine's going to go down, and I don't know if Wallace doesn't... Oh, I love this. He's just parking at the top of the ramp. Oh, and lashes in the Magmadine, getting a free mag kill. But by parking at the top of the ramp there, he was able to use his lower supply army to kind of hold 300 style. Just cram that ramp with a few brutes, and it will hold. At least it did long enough to force msrm to back out. He's going all the way back home here, going for the health camp, doing double, triple tramples all over the place. When I'm at a camp like that, I usually only use one of my tramples, and that's so that if I got caught by my opponent's army, that I'll still have some tramples available. But sometimes, especially, I think msrm knew that wasn't the case, and he might have just said, "Oh, fine, I'll just grab all my mags and trample them in." I find it's a good habit to get into, to try and just box 2 of your mags at once and trample. Like with this, you know, 4 mags like this, or 5 mags like this, if you are going to fight your army, I grab the front 2, trample them in, while that army is, you know, trying to focus fire those 2 down. You can grab your next 2 and start a trample, and then have them come trample in, and maybe even if you're good enough APM, you can pull back those initial 2 back onto some shrouds so they can heal, or back so they can consume a fiend. Wallace again with that early dragon, like clutch 7-minute dragon or whatever he's been doing, and that it won him both games against Yoru, I think. You know, he had some good macro and elsewise, but they had a few of those battles that were just churning frontline versus frontline, and it was the dragon up above. Look how cool he looks. The dragon up above that was winning those battles for Wallace. Even when Wallace would start those battles with a supply deficit, he would end up on top because of the dragon. Now I say all that, but look, there's a dragon for msrm too. msrm's not one to sleep on the dragons. He likes his dragon as well, and while his might have been a minute slower, it's out now. And the supply, look at the supplies. Oh msrm, this is exactly what he wanted. He's got Wallace on the wrong side of his army, so Wallace can't retreat back to the safety of his base. He has to fight here, and those mags got some serious good stomps down. I think this was a huge flank, and then all the reinforcements from msrm are going to come down, and look at this huge concave. Bye to that whole army on the north side. Wallace's own reinforcements have shown up at the bottom, but they're cut off, and this is msrm full on gonna just move now into the base. Oh, there is an army here that's going to try and say no to that, and msrm doesn't want to necessarily throw the game. And once again, Wallace has got himself in a bad position. He's pulled his army where it's not towards the defense of his base. Luckily, he can retreat back through here, but even on top of this ramp, which is good positioning, he's only fighting half the army and still losing. The other half is down at the front here, going toe-to-toe with this army, and that's going to be GG from Wallace. Okay, these two wanted to make it a match, and so we are in the final game. This is Furious Resolve, and playing in the blue, this is Wallace. His infernal opponent, also lover of mushrooms, he is msrm. You know, I don't even know if he loves mushrooms. This is how legends begin. In 100 years, they will be talking about the great mushroom man who loved mushrooms, was a very good Stormgate player, and that people will not even realize that it was just a meme. It was just a meme all along, because of course, what does msrm stand for? We do not know, but we assume it's mushroom. msrm, of course, says, no, that's not what it stands for. It stands for mastermind. I am the mastermind of mushrooms. That's also not what it stands for because it is his initials. It's just his initials. That's right. And I could probably tell you what his actual name is, but I forgot. Because in the realm, in the world of Stormgate, all that matters is your gamer tag and the nicknames that your friends give you. I didn't realize that they had fixed the Fog of War business. Fog of War had this weird edge on it, like kind of like the Shroud does down there. Which I actually kind of like. The Fog of War had that weird edge on it, but now the Fog of War actually just fades out very gently. Like, I can't really tell where the Fog of War is for these phantoms. I mean, I can. You can see it, but it's very subtle. So that's kind of cool. I kind of like the old way. It did look a little jarring to some, and I get that. But for me, it kind of looked like a cool sci-fi thing. I mean, Fog of War is kind of weird anyway, so... Another little skirmish at the Vision Tower. First interaction between these two. msrm getting one Gaunt there. One Gaunt for one Brute. It's like we're playing chess. Is a Brute worth a Gaunt? I don't think so. I think the Gaunts come out as 2. So you probably want to kill 2 Gaunts if you lose a Brute. It's interesting that these players have been opting for... Like, sometimes when 2 players hit the same camp, they do what I call team creeping, where each will just creep some of them, and then after they're done creeping, then they fight. That's not what these players have been doing. They've been fighting over the camps and not really engaging the creeps unless they were safe to do so. And maybe in a mirror that's more important. But still they're trying to engage each other here. And I think msrm's hoping to catch Wallace off with a, out of position again like he did last game, because he keeps chasing him here. Why do you kill your opponent's effigy? I don't know. Effigies are effectively neutral once they hit the ground. Because both of you gain from the Shroud. Like, I could see you killing your opponent's effigy if you were not on Shroud and they were. But in that case, that was just... Okay, and I'm acting like msrm did that intentionally, when if you're just on a move, you will attack it, and that's probably what happened. Here we go, that's kind of looked like team creeping for a second. That's what I mean, where they're all just like, let's just fight the creeps together. But no, Wallace takes the creep, gets the camp. I like what msrm's been trying to do here by... try to be aggressive with his army, but I don't think he's got the gains that he wanted to. I think Wallace, we can see in his supply, has maybe done a little better in those exchanges. Or Wallace is doing a little better to be on top of his macro while they were engaging there. Now, both of them are on 3 bases. And... So it's not like either of them has really run away with the macro, but it is Wallace that's got the 15 supply lead. And now Wallace is maybe going to be aggressive. Again, we're on another one of these big maps where You know, it can be valuable to spend more time building your eco up on your side of the map and gaining some of these camps than it can be to being aggressive. Now, where are we going? Yeah, that's what I thought. He's going for the big guy, the skull squisher. Boom. 1600 HP. He's hard to take down, but if you do, you get the best unit in the game. That's right, the pencil crayon sharpener. You got a giant pencil crayon that needs sharp? Well, have I got a unit for you. The best part about it, you can't even control it, and it will drive where you don't want it to. Like, yeah, I'll help you capture that camp. Like, where was it going? It's almost... Why does it got weird wheels in the middle? It's the weirdest little guy. Trying to hype it up. Well, that was part of his front wheels. I should stop complaining about it since it is the best unit in the whole game. Oh no, here we are at the front ramp. Nightfall Infestation's going down. We got Curse on everything. We got some nice Megalodon Stomps trying to go through, but they do not have their Raging Tendons. This is just about, can he hold this front line? He's kind of in the choke there, which is good. Ooh, but a wasted trample as Wallace pulls back. Wallace deciding it was not a time. Now is not the time to push into that ramp. You know when is the time? Everybody knows. It's when he gets his dragon out. And he's a little behind. What are you doing, Wallace? Every other match we've been watching, you've had your dragon at 7 minutes. He's on 4 base. The 4th shrine for msrm is at the Ethereum, and msrm's army at least is moving out here. Is he going for the vision? He's doing a double creep. Again, I like this. Everybody should be doing this now, especially in a little bit later or mid-game when you've got an army that can do this. But Wallace senses blood in the water. And he's moving out. Now remember, last game it was being caught out on the map where he shouldn't be that got Wallace in trouble. And msrm's pulled back. Again, they're doing this great job of like cat and mouse fighting with their fiends over camps. And this fiend just scouted out msrm's, what's this, 4th base over here? And wait a second, little brute strike force coming in here, and where is Wallace's army, like I said? Not where it should be. Whoa! They charged in super fast. They're going for the shrine. They're going to try and go for it. Nightfall Infestation going down as a defensive measure. And brutes are here. Fellhogs are here. Oh, not enough DPS. Not enough DPS. The little brute strike force is going to go down. Now, wait a second. While this is happening, we've got something going on in the middle of the map here. These armies get together as another little strike force of fiends up here. Wallace trying to pull back from that, not wanting to engage it. The brutes up here cleaned up. A ton of weavers just popped. Remember when they could teleport? That used to be fun. Now they're just slow. I heard a fun suggestion the other day. Maybe weavers should just have shroud emitted from them at all times in some kind of like, or maybe as part, maybe it should be an ability that they can use with their energy since they are energy casters. I would love to see shroud just seeping out of them. It feels like it would fit on them. Oh, wait a second. msrm more strike force over here. This is such a distant base for Wallace that it's going to be hard for him to stop this. Yeah, look how quickly that shrine goes down into the DPS. So it's going to be gone. Boom. So this base is out. Wallace has one choice. He says, fine, I'm going to try and go toe-to-toe in your ramp. But there's a dragon on msrm's side, but not on Wallace's side. Oh, wait. Wallace's dragon just showed up. It's dragon versus dragon, but it's Mags versus Weavers. I think the Megs, did they already use their trample? Because they're all on the front line. They're all fighting, but none of them are trampled. Nonetheless, Wallace gets pushed back here. The supplies look pretty even, so it's hard to tell. What a chaotic little battle. Wallace keeps pulling back, and what that means is some of msrm's units get split off. His army isn't full on, and it's in fact Wallace who's now getting the better end of it. But wait a second, where did all these units come from msrm in a flank? They did a pretty good job, and more units coming down from the north. Oh, a nice trample. Huge stuns going down there on everything. Wow. Another one coming in. That might be it, because so much AoE damage there. Nope, in fact, the Phantoms and Fiends are just too much, and msrm's army gets cleaned up. Somehow Wallace comes out on top of that. Despite losing this base, his imps over here just chilling. They're like, we're alive. Look at how many fiends there are there. That's what we call a fiend explosion, my friends. Fiend explosion for sure. A few more Megs coming out. Megs are, look at how good they're doing, and they, against low health units like fiends, they can be pretty good, but the fiends just have so much DPS too, and those Magmadons, they by themselves, Magmadons can't win. I think they need to have a bunch of brutes or something behind them that's supporting them. And Wallace's army now is just a swarm of fiends and brutes that are just destroying the production. We have a lone, we'll call this the mushroom dragon, which is the dragon that by itself hopes to win the day. But there's just so many fiends there. If a dragon has to kill fiends one at a time, it's just gonna take forever. Shadow Flyers show up, and I think msrm's trying to rebuild over here, hoping that he's maybe gonna get to survive this. But I think he's really just trying to hold on here in game 3 to any hope that he has, because this will be his tournament life, and Wallace moving on to face Senegal or Ruskov in the semis. I think the writing's on the wall, and I hate to call games before the GG's been typed, but msrm up against it here. His poor Magmadons aren't even able to get surface area. They're just fighting in the corner there. And Wallace is like, fine, I'm just gonna, you like your SimCity, I'm just gonna kill your buildings then. Huge trample. But also great control. Wallace is like, I'm not throwing here, msrm. I know you want me to like lose my whole army to this dragon so you can fit back in it, but I'm not, that's not how it's gonna be. More reinforcements streaming in here. Imps streaming in here. This is the kind of BM parades we used to do in the old day. You bring all your workers and march them through the base. Be like, you should have GG'd by now, friend. Now the dragon is like, and stay out, and stay out. They leave like one vaulted farm here. The main base completely mined out. It doesn't matter anyways. But the dragon is still like, yes, I've got this. In fact, not doing that bad. But yeah, this army shows up and says, no, you got nothing going on for you here. This base goes down. And here it is. This is it. There's nothing coming out of these vaults because these vaults are going to go down. In fact, it's going to be imps. It's going to be an imp bloodbath. One Magmadon showing up. 3 Magmadons showing up. Once again, they get those good tramples, and it looks like, oh, look at how many fiends they're going to be able to kill. But it's just not enough. I say that, but maybe it is enough. Maybe these 3 Megs are enough. No, I lied. The Megs go down. The imps are screaming as loud as they can, but they go down too. Okay. Okay. Like, it's at this point where I'm like, I missed the GG, right? I missed it, and I'm casting a game that has nobody in it. I'm in a dream. I'm gonna wake up in math class with no pants on or something. I mean, look at this damage, though, that the dragon can do all by itself. This is why msrm stays in games like this, because he's like, I can devastate your economy with my dragon by myself. And Wallace is actually like, I'm going to come back and save the day. Now, does he have anything to deal with that? He's just got brutes. He's just been pumping brutes and fiends, which he should be at this stage. There we go, Hellborns. Bye bye. Oh, what the? 6 hit points. These 2 Shadow Flyers. They're like, I got him. Dragon down, GG. Come on. Oh my goodness. Okay. Fiends find the imps. GG from msrm.